Hello YouTubers out there, this is Jerry Saravia at the movies. So I just watched the official trailer for Poltergeist, which is coming out this summer. And that is the remake, reboot, reimagining, you know what it is. Absolute, S-H-I-T. Remake. Reboot. Whatever you want to call it, they're basically remaking the original 1982 film, which as far as I'm concerned by Tobe Hooper was absolutely a fantastic movie. I had seen no reason whatsoever to bring that movie back. This remake, the trailer, judging, first of all, the clown, they show this, the clown, which was one of the biggest scares in the original film, and it seems like there are two different clowns, and they didn't, I mean, if you want to see a scary clown nowadays, just check out American Horror Story. There is really no redeemable features I could see from this trailer. It looked like any other haunted house movie that we've seen of late. In fact, it looked more like Insidious in some respects than Poltergeist, although there is the image of the girl Carol Ann, if that's going to be her name in this new one, touching the screen, and then there are all these other handprints, you know, appearing from inside the screen. And yeah, you know, I thought to myself, why am I even going to bother with this review of a trailer? I mean, it just isn't, it isn't even remotely exciting or thrilling or scary. There's just the usual jumps and the music that indicates you're supposed to jump, and throwing in all these flash cuts and shock cuts, but nothing to really differentiate itself from any other haunted house movie you've seen of late. I mean, The Conjuring, that was a pretty good film, and if somebody can come up with that idea, and they did a good job with it, by the way, I thought, why are you going to try to redo Poltergeist? Sam Raimi is involved. I mean, this is just, he's not directing, but it's no, please God, no. You know, I just, looking at this trailer just reminded me of certain trailers that seem to work, like the Evil Dead trailer for the remake in 2013. That one actually had some intensity to it, even though the actors looked a little bland for my taste. But the movie turned out to be crap. I mean, that remake was just awful. And yet there are some people who hadn't seen the originals with Bruce Campbell that think that the remake is the stuff. It's a good movie, you know. So I just want to point out, somebody had commented on the Poltergeist official trailer. One of the comments, I mean, there are the usual generic ones like, oh, this looks good, or this is another unoriginal movie from Hollywood, and the usual. But one that I thought was interesting was that, and I've heard this comment before, that, well, they're making these remakes to remind people that these movies existed in the past. The originals existed, because they may not know otherwise. And you know what? That's a very good point, because most people of two generations before me, or maybe one, may never have actually heard of Poltergeist. I understand it came out in 1982, you know. I mean, they even remade The Haunting back in 1999. The original by Robert Wise from 1963 is a fantastic chiller. I mean, a really great film if you want to see a great haunted house film. The remake was, you know, my comments are going to be null and void at this point about that one. So, but when The Haunting came out in 1999, nobody had heard of, or at least the younger people, younger than me, had heard of the original Haunting. Because, of course, even when these remakes come out, it's not like they really make an effort to remind people that these are remakes. Because if it came out 30, 40 years earlier, nobody's going to know. And it's not being promoted as such. So it's being promoted as, well, this is coming from Sam Raimi, who also did Evil Dead. And that's also confusing because, yes, he was partly responsible for the Evil Dead remake, but we know him really from the original Evil Dead films. We shouldn't remember him for the Evil Dead remake. So this is the problem, because a lot of these movies now that are remakes of the originals, unless you catch them on television or Netflix, video stores don't exist anymore. And I think that's, you know what, I'm beginning to think nowadays that because there are so many remakes now, more than there ever was before, that the reason they exist is because there are largely no video stores anymore. So this way, the young people today that go to see these movies, they have no idea that they're seeing a remake. So therefore, there's nothing else for them to latch it onto. Yeah, it's insane. But then again, I know some people who are huge Tarantino fans, and their Tarantino film knowledge starts with Kill Bill, and then you just move forward up until Django Unchained. They have no idea about Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, Jackie Brown. Wow. You know, again, maybe this movie will come out and it will be good, but it looks indistinguishable. Indistinguishable. There is nothing here that you haven't seen before. The original Poltergeist was creative in its own way. Plus, the other thing that really upset me is that they decided to give away the idea of the cemetery, and I'll leave it at that. Whereas in the original film, you discovered it, and it's like, wow, okay, so these houses were, well, I don't want to give it away for those who haven't seen the 1982 film, but you get my point. They give that away. I mean, that was a very important plot element of the original film. Couldn't they have done something else here completely? I like some of the cast members, but, you know, again, this is not something I'm going to go out of my way to see. No way. Absolutely not. I'll just watch the original Poltergeist. And I tell you, anybody else who sees this video, check out the original Poltergeist. Find it. I don't care how you do it. Look for it. And there's got to be some way for you to see it. And once you see it, you can even buy a used DVD from Amazon or eBay or whatever. I'm sure there are decent prices. Once you see it, if you still feel that you want to see a remake of Poltergeist, get back to me. Alright, this is Jerry Saravia at the Movies, signing off.